Hi everybody, welcome to the 1.5 video about applications of percent. What we're working with today is word problems. So our strategy is outlined right here in 4 steps. We're going to highlight the question. We're looking for what are we trying to solve. Then we're going to read and look for those words, circling our numbers, write our proportions, and solve. Okay, so if we look at this first problem, I see that my question is at the end and it says, what percent of mammals are threatened with extinction? So I know I'm looking for a percent. So if I think about my proportions, I know I'm looking for the percent because it said what percent. Okay, and so now I'm going to change my color. I'm going to go through and I'm going to circle and underline important stuff. So according to a study conducted by the International Union of Conservation of Nature, the world's mammals are in danger of an extinction crisis. Of this, okay, so it says of 5,487 species on Earth, 1,411 are. Are is another form of is. 1,411 are on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. So when we look at our proportion, when we're trying to decide what goes on top and what goes on bottom, another way to think of this rather than just is over of, it's part over the whole amount, the total. I'm actually going to write the word total because it translates better to those of you who are still working on learning English. Total in Spanish and English is a little bit closer, and then percent over 100. So the total number of species, this is the total. And then my of, okay, that's my of, and the part that is endangered is 1,411. Once I get my proportion set up, I now need my calculator so that I can multiply this out. So as I cross multiply, 1,411 times 100 is 141,100 equals to 5,487x. I'm going to divide by the number in front of x. Oops, I don't need to write that second x there. I'm not actually dividing by x. I only divide by the number out front of x. So I'm going to divide by 5,487. So, see if I can't get my calculator to pull up. So I'm going to do 1,400 divided by 587. 25.7. So my answer is 25.7, and because I'm solving for percent, I'm going to put my percent sign. Let's keep trying some more examples. So the first thing I'm looking for is, what is it asking me for? What's my question? In what percent, so again, I'm solving for percent, of elections did the president die? Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Well, let's see what we have going on. This part's always 100. Because it said what percent, I can put my x there. So I'm looking for the total number here and then the number where they died. All right, so let's start at the top, making sure we pay attention to important stuff. There have been a total of 54 presidential elections. In some cases, the president was re-elected to the office, accounting for 43 different presidents. The presidents who died in office were elected in 13 of the 54. Okay, so we can see that this of is our total. So the total amount is 54. Of those 54, 13 died. So that's the part. So now we're looking for how to solve this. So I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. 13 times 100 is 1,300, and that would be 54 times x, which is 54x. Go ahead and divide by the number in front of x. On my calculator, I'm going to do 1,300 divided by 54. I get 24.07. So if I have 24.07, this 7 is going to make my 0 round up. So my final answer is 24.1%. Okay, here we go again. So on this one, you can see that there's a typo because it's missing the question mark. That's not good. So let's put that in once we find it. In the United States, there are 147 workers 16 years and older. Approximately 77% of them drive alone. How many workers drive to work alone? Okay, so we want to know how many workers drive alone. Okay, so let's set it up. We start with our 100 there. Because I know that the percent always has to go above there, once I find that percentage, I can put that number in. So now I have to decide, am I trying to solve for part of the population or the number total? So if we interpret this part here, there are 147 million workers. That's giving me a total amount. It's not telling me a specific of them that drive alone. Okay, this is all of them that drive to work, that ride the bus to work, that bike to work. Total, there are 147 million workers who are 16 years or older. So I'm going to put my total here, and when I know what I'm solving for, okay, I'm going to put an X in that spot. So now that I have my proportion set up, we go ahead and cross multiply. 100 times X is 100X. 147 times 77 is 11,319. Okay, so now I'm going to divide by the number in front of X. And if I divide that by 100, you can see that we get 113.19. We can't have 0.19 of a person, so we're going to round to the closest number. Approximately 113, right, workers. We need to label what we're talking about. These are our workers. How many workers? 113 workers. Okay, let's try again. So, how many questions? We're solving for questions. We're on the test. So that means we're talking about a test and we're looking for not the percentage. If we're not looking for a number that is not a percentage, the first thing I'm going to do is find my percentage. That's 85, and I'm going to fill that in. So on the test, one got 85 correct, or 119. Okay, so if I look at the 119 part, that's 119 of the questions. That doesn't mean there was 119 questions. Those are how many one got correct. If I'm looking for the total, that's why I would put the X underneath. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cross multiply. 119 times 100 is 11,900. Is equal to 85 times X is 85X. Divide by 85. And so X is 140, and let's label that. That's not just 140 something or others. It's 140 questions. So make sure we use our units. Okay, this one's a little bit longer, so we got to pay extra close attention to our steps. The first thing we do is we look for our question. Here's my question mark. It says, how many people in Egypt are under 15? So I want to know people under 15. Because it didn't say what percent, I must have been given a percent. So when I look for the percent signs, I see Egypt 32.6, and I see United States 20.4. Okay, my question had to do about Egypt, so I'm going to use this percentage because it said Egypt, 32.6. In Egypt, if the population of Egypt is 77,449,000, okay, if we look at that, this is the total number of people in Egypt, right? That's the whole group. So 75,449 people. What I'm looking for is the portion of them, the part that's under 15. So when I go to cross multiply, I'm going to multiply together 75,449,000 times 32.6. And this large number is a result of this cross multiply. And so once I get that number, I'm going to set that equal to 100x. And I'm going to divide by 100. So if I go ahead and divide that by 100, that means I have I'm going to have to look at this. 245,96374. 245,96374. I'm going to go ahead and check that real quick. 245,96374. Perfect. So if I look at where we're at, I get 24,596,374 people. And if we think about, does that make sense? 32% is really close to 1/3. And 1/3 of 75, okay, if 75 is made out of 3/4, 1/3 is a quarter. And we can see that 24.5 is about a quarter. So that makes sense. Let's make sure we read through and answered everything and there's not anything missing. So when I say the lesson says how many people in the United States, this is a question word, how. My guess is this was meant to be a question mark. Okay, so since this is a question mark, we want to say how many people in the United States. So now I'm going to do United States. All right, well, this seems like a totally different problem than just the same Egypt thing. So I'm going to approach this like it's brand new. It didn't ask me for percentage, so I'm going to take my US percentage and drop it in there, 20.4. And then the population of the United States, I'm looking for the words United States, is this. That's the whole group of people. 305,468,000 people. You can see we have a lot more people than Egypt. And I'm going to put my X in there. Just like we solved for Egypt, we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So if I move my calculator to the side so I can see it, 305,468, 305,468,000 times 20.4. And then I'm going to divide by 100. So I get 623,15472. 623,15472. Let's check that. 623,15472. Okay. So that's 62 million people in the United States are 15 years or younger. That means smaller, right? So this would include all the babies and stuff. So these are people in the US, and these were people in Egypt.